The CEO believed her blind date was a prank, until a single dad stepped in and saved her from danger. That belief had kept her alive in boardrooms, negotiations, and more than one quiet corporate war. So when her assistant insisted, 3 times, that the blind date was safe, vetted, and statistically ideal, Arya already knew something was off. The AI matchmaking service was exclusive, expensive, designed for people like her, leaders, executives, innovators. It used thousands of data points: income, influence, social rank, genetic compatibility, psychological profiles. And yet, the match it produced made no sense at all. Eli Mercer, occupation, community infrastructure technician, marital status, widowed, children 1, social influence score, low, public presence, minimal. Arya stared at the holographic profile floating above her desk. "This has to be a joke," she said quietly. Her assistant, Lion, hesitated. The system flagged it as a rare compatibility event, emotionally balanced, low risk, zero corporate ties. "That's exactly why it's suspicious," Arya replied. "People did not reach her position without enemies. Rival corporations, alien trade blocs, and quiet political groups all wanted access to Vierx's newest human-only routing network, technology that moved supplies faster than any alien algorithm. She had already survived 2 attempted data extractions disguised as social encounters. And now this, a blind date with a single father in a low-surveillance district. Arya sighed and stood. Canceling would look weak. Ignoring it could make her look paranoid. And if it was a trap, she preferred to see it coming. "I'll go," she said, but quietly. The restaurant was old by megacity standards. Built before alien architectural trends took over, it used stone, wood, and warm lighting instead of shifting holograms. The human quarter was considered inefficient and outdated, which meant it had fewer automated patrols and weaker AI oversight. Arya arrived exactly on time. Eli Mercer was already there. He stood when he saw her, clearly nervous. He wore simple clothes, clean, practical, unbranded. No augmented accessories, no corporate implants visible, definitely not her usual world. "Ms. Voss," he said politely, "it's nice to meet you." She studied him closely. He had tired eyes, the kind that came from interrupted sleep, not ambition. His hands were rough, like someone who worked with physical systems instead of screens. "You know who I am," Arya said. He nodded. "Hard not to. You don't seem impressed." "I try not to be," he said honestly. "Titles don't mean much at home." That was unexpected. They sat. The waiter, a human, not an alien service unit, brought menus. No scanners, no biometric confirmation. Arya felt her shoulders tense. "Do you mind if I ask," she said, "why you agreed to this?" Eli smiled faintly. "The system said it might be good for me, and my daughter told me I should try meeting new people." That answer felt real, too real. Still, Arya did not relax. 10 minutes into the date, she noticed the first problem. Her personal security implant should have been sending a constant background signal to her private drone network. Instead, the connection lagged. Not fully gone, just delayed. She checked again. Weak signal. Arya kept her face calm, but her mind moved fast. Signal interference this clean required planning, and the human quarter's limited surveillance made it easier. Across the room, she noticed something else. A couple near the window laughed, then laughed again the same way at the same moment. A man by the bar checked his wrist display, left, then returned seconds later to do it again. Pattern loops. "Eli," she said casually, "do you come here often?" "Sometimes," he replied. Then his expression changed just a little. "Why?" "Something feels off," she said. He did not laugh, he did not dismiss her. Instead, his posture shifted, more alert, focused. "You noticed it too," he said quietly. Arya met his eyes. "You're not just a technician, are you?" "No," Eli said. "Not originally." The jammer activated fully. Lights flickered. Conversations paused. Every device in the room went silent at once. A heavy pressure settled in the air, the kind that came with controlled panic. Arya stood. That was when the door locked. Three figures moved toward her. They looked human at first glance, but their movements were too smooth, too precise. Alien proxy enforcers, biologically modified to pass in human zones. One of them smiled. "Arya Voss," it said, "please come with us." Eli stepped between them without hesitation. "No," he said. The enforcer tilted its head. "You are not relevant." "That's where you're wrong," Eli replied. Eli moved fast, but not like a trained soldier. His actions were messy, improvised, human. He knocked over a table, shouted warnings, broke patterns the enforcers expected civilians to follow. People ran. The enforcers hesitated. That hesitation saved Arya. Eli grabbed her wrist. "Follow me. Don't think, move." They ran through the back exit into narrow service corridors built decades before alien optimization. Manual doors, old wiring, no smart systems. The enforcers followed, but slower now. "They don't understand places like this," Eli said between breaths. "Too many variables." "Who are you?" Arya demanded. "A father," he said, "and someone who learned the hard way that machines don't protect people, people protect people." A blast struck the wall behind them. Eli shoved Arya forward, taking the impact across his shoulder. He grunted but kept moving. They reached an emergency transit hatch, human-built, manual, override only. Eli slammed his hand on the lever. The hatch sealed just as the enforcers reached it. Silence. Arya stared at him, breathing hard. "You could have run," she said. Eli shrugged, wincing in pain. "My daughter would have been disappointed." For the first time that night, Arya Voss felt truly shaken, not by fear, but by realization. This date had not been a prank. And this man was far more dangerous to her enemies than any security system. The emergency hatch stayed closed for several long seconds. Arya Voss stood still, her heart beating hard in her chest, listening for sounds on the other side. She expected metal strikes, alien voices, or alarms. Instead, there was only silence. The kind of silence that felt heavy, like the world was holding its breath. Eli Mercer leaned against the wall, pressing one hand to his injured shoulder. His face was pale, but his eyes stayed sharp, always moving, always checking. "They won't break through right away," he said calmly. "They don't like damage they can't predict." Arya watched him closely. Pain should have slowed him, fear should have shaken him. But he was steady, focused, and strangely calm. "You knew what they were," she said. "Alien proxies." Eli nodded. "I've seen them before." That answer raised more questions than it solved. Before Arya could ask anything else, the lights in the corridor flickered back on. Old yellow strips buzzed softly overhead. The building systems were coming back online, slowly, imperfectly. Her security implant pinged weakly. Partial signal restored. "About time," Arya muttered. She straightened, the CEO part of her returning even while danger still surrounded them. "Help is coming. My people will." Eli shook his head. "Not fast enough." He pushed himself away from the wall despite the pain. This wasn't a random grab. They planned this. And if they planned it, they planned delays. Arya frowned. "You're sure?" "I'm a single dad," he said simply. "I plan everything." They moved deeper into the service tunnels. The passageways were narrow and old, built long before aliens helped redesign cities for efficiency. Pipes ran along the ceiling. The floor was uneven. Nothing here followed clean patterns. Eli seemed to know where he was going. "You said you weren't originally a technician," Arya said as they walked. "What were you?" He was quiet for a moment. "I worked disaster response," he said. "Human-only teams. After the first alien security failures." Arya remembered those days. Alien systems had been fast, logical, perfect on paper. But when floods came, when riots broke out, when people panicked, those systems failed. Humans had been the ones who went in anyway. "You left," she said. "I didn't," Eli replied. "I stayed too long." They reached a junction where the tunnel split in three directions. Eli stopped, listening. Not to sound, but to something else, patterns maybe. This way, he said, choosing the darkest path. Arya trusted him without knowing why. That worried her more than the danger. Behind them, the enforcers regrouped. They did not rush. They recalculated. Alien intelligence was patient. It adapted, slowly, carefully. It analyzed human behavior like a puzzle that refused to fit. The proxies adjusted their approach. Instead of chasing, they spread out. Instead of force, they used influence. In the streets above, messages began to circulate. Emergency warnings, false reports. Claims that Arya Voss had been kidnapped by human extremists. Confusion was a weapon too. Arya felt it before she saw it. The air changed, heavier, warmer. "We're close to the surface," she said. Eli nodded. "That's not good." They emerged into a forgotten transit hub, an old underground station abandoned when alien transport grids replaced human rail systems. Rusted tracks, broken benches, faded signs in human languages only. Arya stared around her. "I didn't even know this place still existed." "Most people don't," Eli said. "That's why it's useful." He moved toward a control room door and forced it open with a manual lever. Inside, dusty panels and physical switches lined the walls. No AI, no network. Perfect. Eli locked the door behind them. Only then did he finally sit down, breathing hard. Arya knelt beside him without thinking. "You're hurt," she said. "I'll live," he replied. "Can you?" She met his eyes. "I didn't get where I am by dying easily." For a brief moment they almost smiled. While Arya checked the room for supplies, Eli focused on slowing his breathing. Pain burned through his shoulder, but he pushed it aside. Pain could wait. Survival came first. He thought of his daughter. That always sharpened his focus. "Why help me?" Arya asked suddenly. "You didn't know who I was when you agreed to the date, and once you did, you still stayed." Eli considered the question. "Because you were in danger," he said, "and because the system chose me." "That system almost got me killed." "Yes," Eli agreed. "But it also picked someone who wouldn't walk away," Arya frowned. "That doesn't sound logical." "It's not," he said. "That's the point." Above them, Arya's security teams argued with city officials. Alien advisors insisted on protocol. Human officers pushed back. Time slipped away. Down in the station, the proxies found the hub entrance. They stopped again. Too quiet, too messy, too human. "This zone is inefficient," one proxy said. "That is why she is here," another replied. They prepared to breach. Inside the control room, Arya's implant finally connected fully. She gasped as data flooded back in. "They're spreading lies," she said, "turning this into a public incident. If they control the story, they control the response." Eli stood, gripping the edge of the console. "Then change the story," he said. "How?" "Do what humans do best," Eli replied. "Make it personal." Arya looked at him. Then understanding lit her eyes. She opened a public channel. Live, unfiltered. Her face appeared across city networks, messy hair, torn jacket, no corporate polish. "My name is Arya Voss," she said, "and I am not safe." The message spread fast, too fast for alien control. The proxies hesitated again. Human emotion flooded the networks. Anger, fear, loyalty. Security teams moved without waiting for approval. Alien advisors lost control of the narrative. And in that moment of chaos, the proxies made their final mistake. They assumed humans would wait. Eli didn't. He triggered the manual transit system. Old engines roared to life for the first time in decades. The platform shook. "What are you doing?" Arya shouted over the noise. "Ending the date," Eli replied. The train burst from the station just as the proxies breached the hub. Too late. The train sped through forgotten tunnels, metal screaming against metal. Arya laughed once, sharp and breathless. "I can't believe this worked." Eli allowed himself a tired smile. "They never remove old systems," he said. "They don't see value in them." Arya looked at him with something close to awe. "They don't see value in you either," she said. "That's their problem." The train surfaced miles away, right into a secured human zone. Arya's people were waiting. As medics rushed Eli away, Arya stayed close. "This isn't over," she said quietly. Eli nodded. "I know." Above them, across the galaxy, one truth became clearer than ever. Humanity was not efficient, but it was relentless, and it never left its own behind. For a moment, he did not know where he was. Then the pain in his shoulder reminded him. He was lying in a medical bed, his arm supported by a white brace. The air smelled clean and sterile, not like old tunnels or metal dust. A human hospital. He turned his head and saw Arya Voss sitting nearby. She was not wearing her CEO suit. Instead, she had on a simple jacket and dark pants. A tablet rested on her lap, but she was not looking at it. She was watching him. "You're awake," she said. "Did we win?" Eli asked. She gave a tired smile. "We survived, that counts." Eli tried to sit up and failed. His shoulder protested sharply. "Don't move," Arya said. "The doctor said you were lucky. Another inch and you would have lost full use of your arm." Eli closed his eyes for a second. "My daughter, she's safe," Arya said quickly. "Already under protection, human protection." That made him relax. Outside the room, the world was not calm. Across the city, news screens played the same footage again and again. Arya's live message from the transit station spread faster than anyone expected. Millions of humans had watched her speak without filters, without scripts. An unprotected CEO, honest fear in her eyes. Alien authorities tried to slow the spread, but it was too late. Humans had already saved it, shared it, copied it. The story grew faster than control systems could track. Questions followed. Why was the human quarter under alien security authority? Why were alien proxies operating inside civilian zones? Why did human-built systems work when alien ones failed? No one liked the answers. Arya stood in a secure meeting room hours later. Screens filled the walls. Human advisors, corporate leaders, and security officers spoke over one another. "Alien trade councils are demanding silence," one advisor said. "They're claiming this was a misunderstanding," another added. Arya raised her hand. The room went quiet. "No," she said, "they don't get silence this time." She looked at the screen showing Eli's medical room feed. "This attack was planned, and it wasn't just about me." She turned back to the group. It was about testing humans. Eli did not hear the meeting, but he felt its weight. A human security officer stood near his door now. Not alien, not automated, a man. "Seems like you started something," the officer said lightly. Eli shrugged carefully. "I was just trying to get through a bad date." The officer laughed, then grew serious. "You scared them, the proxies. They weren't expecting you." Eli frowned. "They never do." Days passed. Eli healed slowly. Arya visited often. Sometimes they talked about the incident. Other times about small things, her childhood, his daughter's drawings, simple human stories. One evening, Arya brought news. "They tried to erase your records," she said. Eli blinked. "My records?" "Your disaster response files," Arya explained. "Your team, your missions, they were quietly marked inefficient years ago." Eli felt a cold anger rise. "Those missions saved lives." "Yes," Arya said, "but they didn't follow alien logic, so they were buried." She met his eyes. Until now. Arya stood before the Interstellar Oversight Council a week later. Alien representatives filled the chamber. Tall, graceful beings of logic and order. Their voices were calm, controlled. "This incident is being exaggerated," one said. "Human emotional response is clouding judgment." Arya did not raise her voice. "You planned this," she said. "You used proxies to isolate me. You disabled my defenses, and you failed." The council shifted. "Because of one human," Arya continued. "A single father. A man your systems labeled irrelevant." She displayed Eli's mission footage, rescue operations, human crowds moving under his direction. Chaos turned into survival. "Your models don't understand us," she said, "and that terrifies you." The chamber fell silent. Behind closed doors, alien strategists debated. Humans are inefficient, one said, but unpredictable, another replied, and emotionally motivated. That is dangerous, the first said quietly. They began updating their risk assessments. Eli was released from the hospital under heavy protection. When he returned home, his daughter ran into his arms, careful of his injury. "You were on the screens," she said proudly. Eli smiled. "I told you not to watch the news," she grinned. "I didn't listen." Arya visited his home once. No guards inside, just a simple apartment, human warmth, drawings on the walls. "This is what they don't understand," Arya said softly. "This is why you fought." Eli nodded. "This is why we all do." Arya Voss stood on the balcony of her company's headquarters, looking out over the human quarter. Neon lights flickered in the evening haze. People moved along streets built long before alien systems optimized the city, and yet they thrived. Somehow chaos worked in their favor. She had been studying the data from the previous week's attack. Every pattern, every response, every failure of alien proxies. The more she saw, the clearer it became. Humans were underestimated, again and again. Eli Mercer had returned home to his daughter, but Arya knew it would not stay peaceful for long. The aliens had not forgotten the failure. Back at the headquarters, Arya convened a special team. "Listen carefully," she began. "They tried to remove us, to humiliate us, and to test our limits. We survived because of human adaptability, but surviving is not enough anymore. They will return, better prepared. We need to act first." The room was silent. Everyone listened, not because they feared her, but because they understood the stakes. "You will think we are reckless," Arya continued. "But there is one advantage we have that they cannot calculate: humanity's unpredictability, and that is what we will use." Eli watched news feeds from his apartment. Alien authorities were quiet now, but the ripple effect of the previous events continued. Humans across multiple cities were sharing strategies, warning each other, protecting each other. He looked at his daughter drawing at the table. "Do you know why I had to fight yesterday?" he asked. She shook her head. "Because humans don't leave their own behind," he said. "Not me, not you, not anyone who matters." She smiled faintly. "Then they'll be ready next time," Eli nodded. "We will make sure of it." 2 days later, the first signs of a return appeared. Small, almost unnoticeable. Reports of unidentified drones surveying abandoned zones. Signals flickering across communication networks. The aliens were testing again. Eli's team, small, human-only, and decentralized, monitored everything. They relied on old systems, manual overrides, human intuition. None of it followed alien logic, and that was the point. "They think efficiency is everything," Eli said, pointing to a feed of automated scouts. "They don't understand humans who fight with instinct, not calculation." Arya joined him. "Then let's show them what they don't understand." The first confrontation came faster than expected. At an abandoned industrial hub, alien proxies moved into position, expecting no resistance. They assumed they would sweep through without issue. Eli and a small human team were already waiting. They had used the old tunnels, manual switches, and decades-old transit lines to maneuver unnoticed. Humans were scattered, unpredictable, and impossible to model. When the aliens arrived, they were met not with direct combat but confusion. Lights went out. Paths were blocked. Signals interfered manually. Humans appeared where they should not be. Every move was chaotic yet coordinated. Every step exploited human ingenuity. One of the proxies turned to leave. Another hesitated. "This is not efficient." "That is why it works," Eli replied from behind a wall. Meanwhile, Arya coordinated communications across multiple cities. Every human hub was linked. Data flowed between humans in real time. Strategies adapted as humans moved. The aliens tried to hack, but each countermeasure faced a new problem: human unpredictability. Algorithms could not keep up. Human decision-making, driven by empathy, fear, loyalty, and courage, outpaced machines designed for order. Across the city, humans were fighting not with advanced weapons but with intelligence, improvisation, and cooperation. It was messy, it was dangerous, and it was perfect. In the center of the hub, Eli encountered his first proxy directly. It moved with perfect precision, ready to strike. Eli had no weapon other than a metal rod and quick thinking. The proxy lunged. Eli rolled to the side, tripping the proxy on exposed pipes. Sparks flew. Machines short-circuited. Eli's team appeared from multiple angles, all improvising attacks and defenses, none predictable, none consistent. The proxy recalculated, slowed, then retreated. Eli breathed hard. "One down," he muttered. "Many to go." Above ground, Arya was monitoring live feeds. One message popped up on her console. "They are losing control." Her lips curved into a small smile. "Yes," she whispered, "they are." The aliens had learned one important lesson. Humans were not tools to be manipulated. Humans were unpredictable. They were dangerous when defending what mattered. And that was only the beginning. As night fell, Eli and his team withdrew back to their safe zones. Injuries were minor, morale was high. They had made the aliens retreat, at least temporarily. Arya met him at a secure rooftop point. The city stretched below them, alive with movement, lights, and human determination. "You did well," she said. "Everyone did, but they will come back." Eli looked out at the city. "Let them. Humans don't quit." Arya nodded. "Not if we stand together. Not if we fight smart, not just fast. Not if we fight like humans." He turned to her. "And that's why you survived the first attack. Not machines, not AI, humans." The wind picked up. Neon lights reflected in both their eyes. Above them the stars shone, distant and silent, unaware of the small human rebellion below. But the humans were ready. The next morning, city officials met with Arya and Eli's team. "Security protocols need to change," one official said nervously. "We cannot rely on AI alone." "The aliens will test us again," Arya nodded. "They will, and next time they will be met by humans who understand each other, humans who adapt faster than any algorithm." Eli leaned back, exhausted but alert. "They don't understand us now," he said, "and that's why we'll win." Outside, the sun rose over the human quarter. Crowds moved, unaware of the full threat that hovered just beyond the city limits. But humanity was not afraid. Humans did not surrender. Humans learned, adapted, and survived. And that was a power no alien system could calculate. The sun rose over the human quarter, painting the city in shades of orange and gold. For most people, it was another ordinary morning. Shops opened. Children ran along the streets. Humans moved with life and purpose, unaware of the quiet battles fought behind walls, beneath streets, and across city networks. For Arya Voss and Eli Mercer, however, the morning brought no rest. The events of the past weeks had changed everything. Arya sat in her office, looking at live city feeds. Her team had worked tirelessly to coordinate human-only surveillance, communication networks, and defensive contingencies. The previous attacks had shown one important truth. Humans were underestimated not because of weakness, but because of unpredictability. Humans acted with courage, empathy, and instinct, traits no algorithm could fully model. "Do you ever get tired?" her assistant Lion asked quietly, stepping into the office. Arya smiled faintly. "Tired, yes, but humans survive by pushing forward. That's the advantage we have over them. They stop only when they are defeated, and so far we have not been." Lion nodded. "And Eli, how is he holding up?" Arya's eyes softened. "He's extraordinary, the kind of person humans are lucky to have, and they don't even realize it yet." Eli returned to his daughter's apartment after a meeting with Arya's security teams. She greeted him at the door, holding a cup of tea with a careful smile. "You look tired," she said softly. Eli shrugged. "I've fought before, but never like this. Every move counts. Every choice can change lives." "You are not alone anymore," she said. "Humans are standing together now. We're building something no one can ignore. Her words made him pause. They were simple, but they carried weight. For the first time, he realized that the battle was no longer just about him, his daughter, or Arya. It was about every human who could fight for themselves, every human who refused to surrender. The aliens were aware of it too. Their messages were calm, measured, but the meaning was clear. Humanity had surprised them. The previous attacks had been simulations designed to test weaknesses, but humans had adapted faster than expected. Coordination, improvisation, and empathy had turned chaos into an advantage. Reports circulated in alien networks, human response assessment, critical update. Emotional resilience, extremely high adaptive problem solving, exceeds predictive algorithms' protective instinct, extreme and unquantifiable predictive control, failed recommendation, avoid isolation of humans, expect resistance at all levels. The reports reached alien officials quietly, but humans had already made the first move. Now, aliens understood that future encounters would be costly. Arya and Eli convened a team in a secure, human-only command center. Screens displayed maps, communication feeds, and real-time human activity across the city. "We need to turn defense into offense," Arya said, pointing to multiple zones where alien surveillance was suspected. "They underestimate our capacity to act collectively." "That's their mistake." Eli stepped forward, shoulders still sore from previous attacks. "We don't need weapons they can control. We just need people, systems, and thinking humans. Chaos isn't weakness, it's our advantage." Arya nodded. "Exactly. They believe predictability is power. We'll show them unpredictability is survival." The operation began at dawn. Human teams moved like shadows, coordinated through old transit lines, unconnected networks, and manual systems. Each team had a unique role: distraction, diversion, communication, and observation. Humans improvised in real time. Where one route was blocked, another opened. Where one attack failed, another succeeded. The alien proxies had anticipated efficiency, speed, and clean lines of attack. Instead, they encountered delays, unexpected obstacles, and human determination. One by one, they miscalculated. Every retreat allowed humans to tighten control over their own zones. Eli led a small unit through a network of underground tunnels beneath the industrial district. They moved quietly but decisively. Pipes, wires, and old maintenance doors were their allies. Each step disrupted the alien strategy. He paused at a junction and whispered, "They expect fear. Let's give them courage instead." His team nodded. Every member understood that human adaptability was their weapon. Every person who refused to follow predictable paths increased the odds of survival. At the surface, Arya coordinated multiple teams, improvising based on real-time reports. She used human instinct, emotion, and communication to guide decisions that no alien system could predict. The climax came when the largest group of alien proxies attempted to enter the human quarter. They assumed humans would scatter, panic, or follow protocols exactly. They were wrong. Humans did not flee. Humans did not panic. Instead, they fought with strategy, ingenuity, and courage. Old transit systems moved, barricades formed, and communication networks coordinated human activity across streets and rooftops. Humans guided civilians, set traps, and created diversions. Every step was unpredictable. Every action exploited a weakness the aliens could not calculate. Eli confronted one of the lead proxies directly. He had no weapon, only quick thinking. He dodged, feinted, and forced the proxy into a trap using the environment itself. Sparks flew as a maintenance hatch fell on the machine's legs, disabling it. Eli's team neutralized the remaining proxies using improvised tactics that relied on human intuition, not brute force. Above the city, Arya addressed the public through live feeds. "Today humanity has defended itself," she said. Her voice was calm, strong, and unwavering. We have shown that we are not weak, we are not predictable, and we are not alone. Every human, every community, every person who stands for what is right, today, you have made the impossible possible. Messages of support flooded in from across the city, the country, and even other human settlements. Civilians had participated without knowing it, using intuition, improvisation, and courage to protect themselves and each other. Humans had fought back not because they were perfect, but because they refused to fail. The aliens retreated, reassessing their strategy. Their calculated approach had failed completely. Humans had won without advanced weapons, without overwhelming force, without predictable logic. Across interstellar networks, alien analysts updated their files once more. Human profile updated. Predictive modeling failed repeatedly. Threat potential, extreme emotional intelligence, exceptional adaptability under threat, unmatched strategic recommendation. Reconsider all interactions with humans. It was the first time aliens had recorded such a comprehensive acknowledgement of human unpredictability. Back at the command center, Arya and Eli watched the city below. "We did it," Arya said quietly. "Humans did it," Eli corrected. She smiled faintly. "Yes, humans did it." For a moment, they allowed themselves to feel relief. But they also knew the war for recognition, respect, and survival was far from over. Humans had won today, but they would remain vigilant. Because the galaxy had underestimated them for centuries. Because humans were resilient, relentless, and unstoppable when protecting their own. And because humanity's greatest power was its heart, courage, and instinct. Eli returned home to his daughter that evening. She ran into his arms, smiling widely. "You did it again," she said. Eli hugged her tightly. "We did it, all of us did it, and we'll keep doing it." Arya sent one final communication that night, broadcast only to trusted allies. "We survived the test. We adapted. We defended ourselves. Humanity will always protect its own." And now the galaxy knows it. Far away in quiet, calculated alien command centers, leaders paused. They updated threat assessments and recalculated probabilities. But one factor remained impossible to model: the human spirit, unpredictable, relentless, dangerous, humanity. The sun set over the city. Humans continued their lives, unaware of the victories that had secured their safety. But those who had fought, the leaders, the defenders, the single father, and the CEO, knew one truth. Humanity had earned respect not through machines, not through force, but through courage, empathy, and the refusal to surrender. And in the galaxy beyond, that truth would never be forgotten.